That all down, guys. Now that we've got the outrage out of the way, let's get our show started here today, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. You know, they announced a while ago that HBO is going to be doing a new Harry Potter series. Mm-hmm. Instead of like 7 movies or whatever it was, they were going to make an entire season out of each of the books, which will allow them to cover a lot of things that the movies never touched on. Recently, you know, casting announcements came out, and we got our kids who are going to play Hermione, Harry, and Ron. Well, now Variety has put out the very first picture of this kid, who I have not loaded up my NDI yet. So do you got that picture though, Jonathan?
Yeah. Why don't you load that up? And I got this right here.
There he is. Look at that cute little guy. Dear heavens.
When I first looked at that article and I scrolled down, I was like, there was a split second where I was like, oh yeah, that's an old picture of Daniel. And then I was like, oh wait, no, it's the new kid. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. By the way, we have our NDI up again now, so thank goodness. But there he is. What an adorable little kid in his little Harry Potter outfit, holding the clap thing. I think this kid looks great. He looks even more like Harry Potter from the books than Daniel Radcliffe did. I'm not saying he's going to necessarily be as good as Daniel Radcliffe. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying when you look at him, that's kind of the way the book kind of envisioned him.
Yeah, although I will say, I think his hairstylist needs to dial it back.
Oh, it's just, this is like...
That's very British, though.
I guess so.
That's very British hair. Although I don't see the lightning bolt.
No, it's there. I looked. I zoomed in.
Oh, is it there?
When
Okay,
I saw
it's
the
kind of
picture,
hidden under the hair a little bit.
Look, you can see it up on right there on the forehead.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Yep. So
I looked.
Listen, I think this kid looks great. Now, can he act? I don't know. I remember though, like the girl they got to play Hermione, she's literally England's version of Broadway. What's it called? They call it West End.
West End, yeah.
She's literally, even
West
though
End
she's
girls, John.
that young, she is a West End stage veteran. She's that wasn't Annie that she did, or was it Annie that she did? I can't remember which one, but
I feel like it was.
Yeah, maybe it was Annie she did. Anyway, she's like literally maybe the best young actress that age you could possibly find.
Yeah.
So that's great.
The sun came out for her tomorrow.
For those of you who know the lyrics to a certain song from Annie, you'll know.
You know, I own that movie on 4K.
Oh, no, sorry. It wasn't Annie. It was Matilda.
Oh, well.
It was Matilda.
So much for my cool stage
That's
reference.
right. So there she goes. Listen, I got to say, I was at very first almost as skeptical as everybody else about this. Now, I still didn't think it was a bad idea. Harry Potter's an incredibly valuable IP and an incredibly valuable franchise. So I understood, like, it's probably not a bad move to do, but I was a little skeptical of it. But I got to tell you, Rob, once they started announcing all the showrunners that are behind it, and you're talking about the people who have run like the biggest and best shows we've had in years and years and years, it's like, holy crap, they're taking this seriously. And then when they started accumulating like award-winning talent to be in it, hell, listen, I know there's a lot of people who got their feathers ruffled about the dude playing Snape, but I talked about this once before, but here's the problem with everybody who's saying they have a problem with Snape, because it's not book accurate, they would say, because the actor is black, right? And in the books, Snape is white. My point has always been, but nowhere in the books does his ethnicity ever come into the plot. Like his ethnicity is never a plot point in it. It's part of his description. But people say, well, why don't they just stay true to the books? And what I will often say to these guys is, well, time out. I don't remember hearing you screaming and complaining that Alan Rickman was the wrong guy to play Snape. Snape in the first book is 31 years old.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know how old Alan Rickman was when they started filming his first Harry Potter movie? He was 54 years old. More than 2 decades. But I didn't see I don't see these people huge outrage at Alan Rickman was all wrong. All wrong. No, it was different from the book, but it didn't matter because his age really didn't become a major plot point in it, so it was fine. So everybody whining and complaining about this award level winning actor playing this, I'm just going to say, just have the balls to admit you're not upset because it's not completely accurate to the book, because decades too old for the role was also not accurate to the book. But look how that turned out. Anyway, that all being said, as I said, Rob, I started out not quite as skeptical as everybody else. I did think it was a decent idea to try, but I wondered if it could turn out good. But it is HBO, the gold standard of making great television.
Yeah.
I think these kids look adorable. Like, here's where the rubber meets the road, Rob. It's all going to depend. It is all going to depend on what is the on-screen chemistry like between these three kids. Because if that don't work, if we don't buy loving seeing these three kids on screen together and how they interact, because to me, as somebody who's not a reader of the Harry Potter books, the thing that got me on is, look how great Emma and Rupert and Daniel are together, and they're dynamic, and they seemed like three little kids who were literally best friends in real life, and it drew me in as an audience member. If they don't nail that, this thing's dead on arrival. If they do, they could have something really special here. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the first picture of this kid. What are you thinking about it right now?
I saw that picture. I showed it to Elizabeth this morning. Look, they spent a year casting this show. They literally went all over the world. And like what James Gunn did with Superman, putting David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan together, it was apparent to him that, okay, this is the team. I don't think there's ever been more important casting in the history of television than this, as you're pointing out.
I don't think you're wrong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was, they're going to do all 7 books, and they're going to make it all work, and each season is a book. This has got to be right. And you know what? That's why the black actor playing Snape, they cast him because he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And now, forget his color. That guy has to follow in the footsteps of Alan effing Rickman.
By the way, Jason Isaac, who played Malfoy's dad,
Yeah.
Right.
he just came out and said, this guy, he's one of the greatest actors I've ever seen.
Yeah, and so what people don't understand is, look, I go back, and one of my favorite movies of all time and one of my favorite Stephen King short stories was Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. Well, the red character was not a black dude. And when they cast Morgan Freeman, when Frank Darabont was making that movie, not one person complained. Nobody said, Red in the books, he was an Irishman. And that's why Frank Darabont even left it in the movie. Why do they call you Red? Morgan Freeman was like, maybe it's because I'm Irish. I mean, it was hilarious.
Which was a wink to the people who knew the book.
Yeah, I mean, nobody said anything. When Bernie Casey played Felix Leiter in Never Say Never Again in 1983, nobody said anything. Bernie Casey was a great Felix Leiter. And then when Jeffrey Wright took over, nobody cares. And guess what? Nick Fury in the comics was a white dude until the
Originally.
Ultimates.
Which is
And
why David Hasselhoff
played.
was our original Nick Fury on screen.
And when they made the Ultimate Universe, they drew Nick Fury to look like Sam Jackson. So, I mean, nobody cares. If the actor comes on screen and is awesome, that lasts maybe 10 seconds. And people are like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
When you cast somebody great, it does not matter.
By the way, side note, Jonathan was pointing this out to me a little bit earlier. Another casting that's quietly been done is Ollivander, who was played by John Hurt in the original things. They've cast it now, and it's, how do we pronounce? Is it Anton or Anton? And I'm not
Anton,
sure.
I think.
Anton Lesser, who was the head of the ISB in Andor, the dude who kills himself at the end.
Again,
great
the
is
greatest
that?
actor. You can't get a better actor. And he was in Game of Thrones too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
he was.
those guys, this thing, I would imagine that we're going to get a tour de force of actors. I mean, and they did all the chemistry reading, all the stuff that they've done. For that alone, you have to sit up and go, whoa, now you have my attention. So I think that we're going to get something. Because you know what? Not only do you have the books, but you have 8 very successful movies as well, that the world, you're fighting against that. And if you don't, like you said, if it's not just the chemistry, you have to nail everybody.
Yeah.
If everybody isn't great, and they cast what they know are the best actors, and that's why that alone makes me want to see this show.
They got some of the best showrunners. They've cast the best actors, and it's HBO. Look, is that a home run automatic guarantee that this is going to be a fantastic show? No, you can never do that. But are the odds pretty good? Yeah, I say when you take all that in consideration, I think they've got the pieces, Rob, for a winner. They've got the pieces of the puzzle for a winner, I think.
Plus, if they're going to do a book a season, all of these actors have way more screen time than our original actors.
Yeah.
So they're going to have, I'm sure you're going to see Harry's home life, more of it than we saw in the original film. And it's these actors have to be able to hold their own on. So I'm excited, dude. I'm in.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about it? We got our first picture of our new Harry, and I gotta say, he looks pretty great. I mean, that doesn't mean he's gonna be great, but the picture's great. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.